YouTube. There we go. Stand by for live video. Stream health is excellent right now. Okay. Now, next thing. Let's see if we can. This chat window. There we go. Stream started. And we got. Sounds like there's lots of plenty of volume. Go to YouTube on this page. Feeds. IGN Live. There we go. There's a stream with my picture in it. Okay. Now, want to enlarge just this window. Right. Good. Now go here. It's going to enlarge all. Okay. This could be worse. Well, I can't hear him.
Move.
You're not supposed
Move. Move. Jagger, stop.
to. Reason this is happening. Why is this happening? So,
You was thinking? Yeah, stop it. Jagger, deep claw. You too, Move. You started it this time. Yes, you did, and you can't blame Jagger. Here. To want all this hanging. Because I'm not blue. She would eventually go.
volume mixer.
I know, Move. Yeah, Daddy didn't get a drink for you. I'm sorry. It's his drink. I can hear it. It's his drink.
Start turning this off. Now, why can't I hear him? That's why. That's what's,
Aggravating.
yeah. Oops. Wrong button. USB mic. Now, trial 3. Put that on.
What? Stop.
That are trying to meet their clean energy goals. They even let me test drive one. I used to work on the back of a trash truck when I was in college, and that was kind of a thrill, parenthetically. But in communities like Macungie, one of the greatest fears that
I was listening to it. But the lag is just when you press the button, it doesn't happen like that. You gotta wait for it.
he has worked for the rest of his career. And his son, who also is now a member of the union, has worked
I'm
for
sure
years
there's a
to
lag
come.
between when
I
she.
frankly heard the same thing yesterday from union members in Pittsburgh when I traveled there with the president. The sense of hope.
Have you tried the wireless?
Okay, now I can hear him.
Okay.
Now I can't. So I did something.
The dad had some health issues and was having some challenges.
One of these
But thanks to
is-
funding from the American
is
Rescue
activating
Plan,
his
they were
voice, and I don't
able
know
to
which-
move out of their very small apartment that didn't meet their needs into a subsidized, newly constructed townhouse apartment that finally gave their family some breathing room. Their son David, who is 18 years old,
Why is
gave me a tour. And his
voice
highlight,
coming through
and he
in the
said to me,
same
and I remember
track
this like it was yesterday, Tom,
as
I've never had a
my
backyard before.
microphone.
And he showed me the backyard. First time they ever had one. And by the way, he's got a full ride to UPenn, just started last week.
Oh,
We're going to
right.
continue to
Using the
stay in
microphone
touch
from
because
the
Mayor
camera.
Turk and mayors across
Yeah.
America, Republicans and Democrats, have said to me repeatedly during my House calls that they have never
Can
had the
you explain
opportunity to
yourself?
do more good for more people than they've had over the last 3.5 years, thanks to these investments by the Biden-Harris administration. And I'll note that business leaders have expressed a similar sentiment. As a former labor secretary, I have a habit of talking to businesses, and I always ask them the same question: what keeps you up at night? The most frequent response I hear these days is workforce. We have a workforce shortage. We have so much opportunity. We need to make sure that we build the skilled workforce to compete. That's undeniably a challenge, but it's a challenge beats the alternative, which is having no work. And one of the glaring lessons I've learned from my travel and conversations with these mayors is how prior waves of infrastructure investment actually created or
There's only
exacerbated
supposed to be a
opportunity
5-second delay.
divides in communities across the
How long did
country.
you count?
The fact that American English has the phrase wrong side of the tracks tells you everything you need to know about our
Okay,
awareness
from
deep
when I
down
stopped
that
talking,
infrastructure
I'll
can
count.
divide just as much as it can connect. In my travels to places like Pittsburgh, Milwaukee, Buffalo, Denver,
No, I'm
Syracuse, to
sorry.
name only a
That
few,
wasn't right.
I observed
Now,
firsthand
when I
how
stopped
prior
talking-
infrastructure projects from prior generations, like highways and bridges, literally cut generations of families of color off from opportunity, all in the name of progress. In partnership with mayors and state and other local
seconds.
officials, we have been steadily investing to redress these historical
8
wrongs,
seconds to say
including impacted communities and including impacted communities in the process.
But what I
In
can't
each of these
tell
cities, I've heard from residents who are encouraged by the
is
possibilities these
if
investments
I'm-
present for them and for their communities. Smoother transportation routes equal
Am I
access to
hearing
jobs, education, and healthcare,
the
more
microphone
green space,
through him?
cleaner air. In short,
Or am I
reconnecting
hearing the
communities has
microphone
been
through
about
here?
and will continue to be about reconnecting opportunities.
I'm not supposed to be
We
able
want
to.
out of
I
the
have it
shadows. That was
configured
what a
to
person
where
in Syracuse, New
it's
York said
supposed
to
to be
me,
coming
referring
through
to literally
the
the
feed.
shadow that I-81 cast
But I
along
can't
the
tell that
middle
right
of
now,
her
'cause
neighborhood
I don't have
when it
another
tore it
PC
apart.
to.
That's ultimately
I need to
what
bring my
investing
little-
in America is designed to
my
do. It's
little one
designed to
here
lift
and
communities out of the
access
shadows. Lift the tide so that
my-
it floats all the boats, not just the yachts. President Biden has kept his promise to be a president for all people, from small towns to big cities, red, blue, purple states, places that for all too long were
It's either on the
overlooked or
bed or
left out.
still plugged in on
Because
the
of the
little
president's
table.
actions and the vice president's actions and vision, Americans all over the country are seeing and feeling a better, fairer, and more prosperous future on the horizon, a future of endless possibilities. I've had the privilege of seeing those possibilities, and it is indeed exciting. So thank you, and we're happy to take whatever questions folks have.
Thank you. Thanks for being here. Just on the Investing in America agenda that you were talking about, is there anything you can share on just how the president's thinking about these projects, these goals might have shifted, how he may be sort of reorienting himself since he decided not to seek a second term, for example? Are there projects that he is now viewing with added urgency than compared to a couple months ago?
Well, I think the president views every project with urgency because he knows that behind every project is a community clamoring for change and hope and opportunity. And, you know, throughout all of these projects, we have seen real progress. I mentioned Internet for All. We're making progress through the infrastructure bill in ensuring that we are dealing with middle mile, last mile, every mile. And this work is going to continue. I'm frequently asked, well, you know, can we do this faster? And the president has a healthy impatience for progress. And so we're going to continue working with our agency partners to ensure that we can break ground on every project where we've moved forward and get as much done as soon as possible. But, you know, when you're trying to correct a problem that is 50 and 60 years in the making, you know, the reality is that you don't replace every lead pipe overnight. It's not an on-off switch. But we're making tremendous progress. The president and the vice president are very good at setting benchmarks and holding ourselves accountable, the cabinet secretaries as well, and so we'll continue that work.
Thanks. In your travels to Pittsburgh and throughout the Rust Belt, what kinds of conversations are you having with unions, companies, workers about the proposed takeover of U.S. Steel and what that would mean, and how is it informing administration policy right now?
Well, the president spoke very clearly about that fact yesterday. Well, he's spoken about it multiple times, as recently as yesterday. U.S. Steel is an iconic United States company, and in his judgment, should remain an iconic United States company. And so I think the president has been very clear on that and will continue to be. And our conversations yesterday with union members
so I need
were
to
very
see
much
if
along
this
those lines.
And is the administration going to
coming
actively move to block that deal?
And,
Well, there's a process
I should
underway
be
now
able to tell by
that is
listening
working
back.
its way through, and I won't comment further because I want to respect that process.
Thank you. So I've been talking to a lot of voters in
Yeah, it's
battleground
just
states,
this-
and the top issue I hear over and
tri-
over again is the
your
economy.
trial
They still feel
right
like
now
prices are
set
too
up
high
is-
and that
is
wages and
too loud.
opportunities aren't keeping up.
So I need
So
to
why
take
do you
the
think so many
volume.
Americans are either unaware of Biden's economic investments or haven't felt those benefits? And will any part of the
So you're already
investment
coming through there.
agenda impact voters
Yeah.
between now and November?
Yeah, that's where I'm glad it's finally working.
Where we need to go. 4 years ago, we were in the throes of a pandemic. A pandemic exacerbated by a president who got so many things wrong and so many needless funerals because he didn't follow.
Do you
the
hear
science.
me?
We were in a pandemic-induced recession that resulted in millions of jobs that were lost. And the president came in, and the American Rescue Plan is aptly named because it really did not only rescue the
Okay.
economy, but it rescued
So that part of it is
many
all working
lives, and it
the way it
ensured that
needs
we
to.
could move forward. And a number of the investments I've
I
described,
tried to set this
you know,
up with
lead pipes, internet, high-speed internet for all.
three
These
three
are
different
investments that are well underway,
windows that you
undeniably,
can
there's
have
still more work to be
three
done
different
in those
trials
areas.
going at the
When you
same
look at
time on here
wage growth is
with one
growing by
of the
more than the rate of
trials
inflation,
being
which
in
means now
focus.
people are making
So
more,
they'll
their
only
cost
do
of living,
one
so they have
trial
more money in
on
their
the
pockets,
screen at a
which we
time.
need to continue to
Okay.
do because people are living
Um,
their lives. You know, they don't. I understand this because I've spent a lot of time, you know,
but
kitchen
now
tables, and
I have
people
to
don't spend the
I
amount
have
of
to
time.
work on getting these other two size fixed because I didn't have the size right before.
So is it a situation like if one went on break, you could flip to another window?
But it's also going to be a situation where the trial that you want to watch from in like in the morning when you come in and everything's new for the day, what you're going to have to do is look up that trial that you want to watch on YouTube, and you're going to have to copy that URL and paste it into OBS here so that it shows up um, in your window. Because if you don't, you'll probably get a blank screen with nothing there, and because it was yesterday's feed.
Now, is there a delay? Like when you copy the link, is there like a small delay in the trial? Because you're not supposed to be able
You
to.
haven't started the stream yet.
Oh, okay. Honey, I'm
Yeah,
just.
I know. You haven't started the stream yet.
Okay.
Hopefully you're going to be doing this before you start the stream, and then everything will, come in line. But if you're starting like one trial, one of these windows in the middle of the day, there's probably going to be a little bit of a delay.
Well, you want a little bit of a delay, otherwise YouTube gets mad.
What do you mean?
Like if I'm watching Port TV
Uh-huh.
and we're on the same sync with each other,
How much of a delay?
I think it just has to be a couple of minutes because other people are gonna. It's just a couple of
Oh,
minutes.
well, that changes things a little bit. See, because it changes things because you're commenting on a live feed, um, and you're watching it with your audience.
Right.
Okay.
What they're doing is they're watching my feed.
Yeah, I know. I know that, but yeah, what I'm saying basically is I don't know of a way to get delay the video from them and have you um on a different wavelength, like you don't have any, like a 5 or 8 second delay in your response to your audience. So if there's a 2-minute delay, if the live feed has to have a 2-minute delay, Well, your voice, your reactions, your answers have to have a 2 minute delay as well. I don't right now I don't know a way around that, but
Well, let's
there's
not.
got to be. I
Yeah,
mean,
well, see, because I know what Tracy does sometime the other day she did is she started later, but she started at the beginning of the trip, like,
oh, okay, I got you. So if the trial starts at say 9 o'clock,
'cause she,
and she didn't start her live feed until 9:15, and she started at the beginning of the trial,
exactly,
then she's fine.
yes,
Yes, that's fine.
okay.
Yep,
I'm
yep.
sorry I wasn't explaining myself well. This is all new to all of us. Is there any way I could, let's say the trials are over for the day and I just want to chat about something, is there any way I can put in one of the windows, I could put stuff I want them to look at? Or does it have to be something that's moving? Like if I was discussing Nikki's case and I
Yeah.
wanted to put a picture of Nikki up, this is who I'm talking about.
You would have to go into OBS and make a new source for your scene, and make if you wanted to put a picture up, it'd be like under here they have for the different sources. One is called image, an image. Well, yeah, you want to put an image up. Well, you'd have to make a new window and and call for that picture to be taken off of your computer.
Because a lot of them I save in folders so I can like get a picture out of the folder and say this is who we're talking about. Here's the map of where her car was.
Yeah, see, and if I went, um, okay,
Do you want to know where picture is?
yeah,
Go to Trial Junkies down in the little folder thing. And there should be a list of different cases.
okay,
Just pick one and then see if there's says pictures.
well, you have one called Vicky,
Okay, I mean you can pick that one. I was just saying,
and there's a whole bunch of pictures in here, so
just
it
choose one.
just doesn't matter. Okay, um, okay. It shows,
Cool.
but it has to be in the right order. Um, when you're dealing with any kind of like a like Photoshop or anything that they have what they call layers. You put one picture on this layer and one picture on this layer, and if you want a picture to be visible while your picture, your one layer is going to have to be on the bottom, so that your picture will sit on top, basically is what's happening. And this is if we were to take this as an example, um the trial is on the bottom layer, okay, and then wow, it went, I don't know why it's picking. Okay. And then your picture will be down here. Well, that's on one layer. And this is on another layer.
Okay, but this is what I was saying. Like, let's say I don't have a trial. Sometimes you don't have a trial.
Yeah.
So would I just be in the trial box and then I could do
No.
pictures of
No. No. No, you can't. You can't add a. You can't add a picture to a picture. It's a layer that gets put on top.
See, that
You'll get it, honey.
okay.
It's not. It's not rocket science or anything. It's just you'll get it.
Honey, how many days have you been working on this?
Honey.
And then he's telling me, hey, it's no big deal.
Well, honey, you're not doing the inner workings of this thing.
I know, I'm just trying to
You're
understand.
you're gonna be working with the surface level stuff.
Thank God, because otherwise I'd be up on YouTube doing hand puppets.
Okay. I'll take this Vicky and deactivate this picture, and now the picture will be gone. So, see, they're on the feed. It disappeared from the feed.
Because see, this was my question. Okay, let's say it's night, and I decide, hey, I'm gonna go live. I just want to talk some true crime,
Now,
but I want to be able to show some photos.
then you just create a source in here and put your and browse to where your picture is, whatever you want to put on there, and you tell OBS that this is where I want you to get the picture from. Let's see.
Daddy thinks I'm
But you can only have so many that are visible on here because there's only so much visible room.
yeah.
You can put more in here. There will be just a slider like on the scroll bar. It'll be like that, and you'll have to scroll down to see the next level. Like your
So like I could line up 10 pictures, but I
Mhm.
can only do one at a time,
Right.
and I'll just go down and then
Oh, you can do three or four at a time. Just depends on what fits on the picture. Fits in the frame. So, but yeah, you're right. You have to activate that particular layer.
because we do have times when there's just absolutely no trials.
Yeah.
Like this morning, I didn't really see one. So
Well, we're gonna have to be able to do, even if you get 3 4 months down the road, you kind of know where everything's going and how to run everything. It's still a situation where you're gonna have some tweaking and volume tweaking and stuff to do in some of these trials because some of them will be louder than others
Dad thinks I'm going to be able to tweak.
and when I'll I'm gonna have to get figure a time when you can talk. Just keep on talking, and I'll be able to make your voice sound a little better on this because the quality of the microphone is it's
Yeah. Well, I know
it's not a professional.
Stephanie started out with, I think, probably a setup like this,
Yeah.
and then now she's got a real mic.
Yeah.
And she actually had to finally go buy a new camera because everyone kept telling her that she didn't look, you know, right. Whoops, water.
Oh, when she was filming,
Yeah, she's
film
blurry.
on her video feed.
Yeah, everyone's like, you're so. So the other night, Derek was like, well, what's everyone think? She got a new camera. Yeah, I know, I dropped water. Why didn't you do something?
Yeah, and I don't know how long this is going to last either. It just depends on your audience. So, but that this camera has a fairly decent picture on it.
Yeah,
Let's see.
I think so. Got the hairball up, buddy?
Oh,
Mommy's feet didn't want to work this morning.
trying to.
It's just water. She's sniffing it like I really spilled something. Yes, that is toxic waste. Because I thought what would be fun is some nights when I'm up late and I can't sleep, it'd be funny to try and go on, see if I could get an audience in true crime after dark or, late night with true crime. What we got, people?
Wouldn't see why not.
Because I also have some of my people that are international, so they might be able to watch.
Oh, active.
Have you tried the wireless earbuds, or do they work that well?
Yeah, they don't work. It's not for this. You sound horrible. It's a lot worse than this does.
It's funny to hear the delay, isn't it?
It's different. That's for sure.
Jagger's checking out the toxic waste. I don't.
I, all right.
Cardi left because I'm not in my seat to give her anything, so she was like, what am I doing in here? Hanging with Lower's cats. I'm a tired cast. I've been watching, or I've been digging into a trial in India. It's a nothing burger. It's a nothing burger. That's Derek saying. It's a nothing burger. Just never buy a real pineapple and put it upside down in your grocery cart. Supposedly, if you do, that's a sign you're a swinger. I have no idea why they use the pineapple, like upside down pineapple. So Derek is definitely thought it was so funny they created a T-shirt with two pineapples in detective coats, but they weren't upside down.
It's like
I have a feeling the
But
reason
we
that
wanted to make it very clear
um,
about who's responsible,
Derek's
and
wife may have
how,
divorced
and
him is
where
because that man
where the United States
works
is on this.
So you are saying
all
that
the time.
you are referring
He's
to
got his private
that
detectives
outcome
company.
coming
He's a
from
private
the
investigator.
U.S.'s actions? Can you just
He
clarify whether
he's
you're
got
talking
his
just
two
generally about
podcasts. No,
eventually Hamas will pay for
three.
what they
Because
have
they
done,
do
or are
Crime
you
Weekly,
talking
which is
about
an
the
hour.
administration
They do a
ensuring
half
that
hour every week, so that's a
something will
separate one.
happen,
And then
action
he
will be
does
taken so
his
that Hamas leaders will
from
pay
a
I'm
for
not
detective
going
it?
to go beyond
perspective.
the statement.
And then in
As
between,
I
he
said,
fits in
Hamas
guest
leaders will pay for this
spots
crime. What we saw,
with like Nancy Grace or
who's responsible, and how, and where the United States is on this.
So you are saying
no,
that you
somehow
are
we need to get
referring
up and go get some
to
tea and water.
that
Would you
outcome
like to do that for
coming
mommy?
from the U.S.'s
She goes,
actions?
no,
Can
I'll
you
leave
just
the way, Mom.
clarify whether you're talking just generally about eventually Hamas will
Did you
pay
have
for
some
what
breakfast this
they
morning?
have done, or are you talking about the administration ensuring that
Kelly?
Yeah.
something will happen,
Okay.
action will
And
be
a bowl of
taken
cereal.
so that Hamas leaders will pay
I'm
for
not
it?
going to go beyond the statement. As I
See,
said,
even Lou is
Hamas
upset
leaders will
with you.
pay for this crime. What we saw over the weekend was the latest, heinous murder,
Well, I think a
and
tofu
that's what it
scramble
was.
is in
And
order
so
for tonight.
we are
How's
going to
that
be very
sound?
clear on calling that out. If anything, Hamas has even more American blood on their hands, even more.
Because Daddy needs
And
a
so
nice
we're going to
sleep.
continue to be really clear. I'm just not going to go
What's
beyond
out
the
there?
statement, beyond what I'm saying here.
Sky.
I'm not going to telegraph anything from here.
Assassin.
And
Little
we
baby
wanted to, the
assassin.
president in his statement, I think, was pretty clear. But
It's okay.
we do not telegraph on what that could
I
be.
don't know.
Just following the
I don't know what Jagger
another
did to
American
you, but
hostage, can you talk
you've
to us
become
about
so
where the administration
skittish.
is now on the idea of some kind of deal, some
What?
kind of attempt to
Oh,
rescue
I'm sorry,
just
Birdie.
the American hostages?
He is allowed to walk into the
Part of
room.
broader
All that screaming was because Jagger walked into the room. I think I heard you on there. Wow. She's kind of loud.
Oh, they'll get picked up. That was me.
Rogue. Can you hand me my package from underneath there? I'll open it. Like from us doing anything.
The one problem that you might have, I don't know, it's easy to fix yet. But, you know how when these things go to commercial, go to an ad,
Yeah.
um, sometimes the screen will minimize.
Okay.
And then you have to manually go in and change it back once you skip over.
Well, you would be here a while till I get my berries.
Mm-hmm. What's going on? Oh. Well, okay, let's trial number 1. Box.
Beef.
Box number 2.
Smell.
Mhm. Mhm. It's I wonder. Let's just try this here.
Oh, is it delightful? My children are so sweet. They love each other so much. You can see the balls. What's wrong, man? Did you get kicked out?
Try number two. That's what I feared. Okay, it's all right. To come in here. Interact. And make it large screen.
Do you have a hole for this? For just a moment. On the computer or not?
No.
Okay.
What do you?
I just wanted to turn it on and see.
Oh, yeah, you power it. Come on. Okay. There you go. Yeah, that'll have to be toned down a little bit. Or else it'll, nobody will, everybody will see a big blur.
Mhm. Okay. Well, it works. You enjoyed that. Gotta get rid of my twisty tie because Gwen likes to try and eat them. And one of these days, one will be small enough she'll swallow it. Wow, that was really good
Very
hacking.
about Hamas leaders and what
Look
they
at that.
He was very clear on October 7th. He has been very clear multiple times thereafter on what Hamas has done. And they have, I mean, they are, it is a heinous murder of what they did recently. And what they did on October 7th. And
No, I'm
what
not
they,
gonna start. So I'm done.
more than 1,200 souls were taken.
Okay.
And then hostages were taken. That's why we're trying to get this deal done, to get people home to their families, including American hostages. And we're continuing to be very, very clear about that. He was asked a question, he answered it directly. But Hamas is responsible. They have more American blood on their hands. The president was clear about that in his statement. And he has been over almost a year now, has been very clear about that, and will continue to be so.
A different topic. Since when does the vice president have what sounds like a southern accent?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well,
I mean, this is.
she was talking about unions in Detroit using one tone of voice.
Is this something that
Same line
Okay, Peter.
that she used the same line in Pittsburgh, and it sounded like she at least had some kind of a southern drawl.
I mean,
What?
do you hear the question that I mean, do you think Americans seriously think that this is an important question? They care, you know what they care about? They care about the economy. They care about lowering costs. They care about healthcare. That's what Americans care about.
So,
That's what they
okay,
want
well,
to
this is
They
something.
care about, your
And
colleague
it's
just asked me
funny,
about.
it's like
what
we
basically
sign
talked
like
about
this,
what
like not so much
democracy and
like
freedom.
app, but this one looks like something that someone like, you know, that extra stuff we have. What if we attach it to a solution?
Well, but hearing it is
The question, I'm talking about the questions is just insane.
that how she talks in meetings here?
I'm just, Peter, we're moving on. We're still moving on. Go ahead, Anita.
Thanks. Starting with Ukraine and this recent attack, has there shifted the administration's response to Ukraine's request to be able to do long-term strikes in Russia? And then just quickly, when the General Assembly happens, we understand that Zelensky's going to come to the U.S. Is he going to meet with President Biden and Vice President Harris?
Your last question, you're jumping way ahead of me. I don't have anything for you as far as President Zelensky specifically attending and not attending. I mean, that's something that you would have to talk to the Ukrainian government. What I will say is the latest strike is obviously it's horrific. It's a reminder of Russia's brutality. It's something that we cannot forget. It is also critical that the world continues to stand with Ukraine as they are fighting for their sovereignty, as they're fighting for their freedom. And so what we can say from here is that President Biden has been very clear for his support for the Ukrainian people, and that continues to be unshakable. And that's what I can say. As far as our policy, to your first part of the question, nothing has changed. I don't have a change of policy to speak to.
The moon.
Shooting for the moon.
President of China is coming
A lot of Republicans are leaving
President Biden is expected to
that were
attend.
backing Trump
I know,
are now going on
National
air
Security
saying they're
Advisor
going
Jake
for
Sullivan
Kamala.
spoke to
Oh,
this,
really?
when he was
They've
doing
had
his
it with
press
him.
conference.
The thing that he overstepped finally was he went to Arlington Cemetery
National Security
for a
To the APEC.
I hate listening to myself.
Advisor.
And there's this, I can't remember if it's called Section 6 or
And that
Section
continues
60,
to be
which
unshakable.
you're not
That's
supposed to
what I
film
can
in
say.
there.
As far as our
It's
policy,
really
to your first
a
part of the question,
personal,
nothing's
private,
changed. I don't have a
sacred
change of
space
policy
for,
to speak to.
you know, military personnel that have been killed.
China.
And he went in there with his crew.
The APEC
They pushed a woman that worked for Arlington
President
Cemetery,
I know
a military person,
National Security Advisor Jake
because they
Sullivan
wanted to go in there and make a
spoke
big
to this,
scene.
when he was
And
doing his press conference and when
And
he
then
was in
Crumb starts saying,
Beijing
well, I didn't know
last
anything
week.
about it. You know, I didn't know, you know.
Traffic
And the fact that his people pushed a woman and that the military felt the need to actually put out a statement that they weren't going to press charges, but they could because truthfully it's a federal crime.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, yeah, because she's a woman. Now if they pushed a guy, would you guys have, because even his people are now going after women. It's like, so now there are a lot of the military guys, because military usually always votes. There's some flakes, I'm just getting them off. The military personnel usually always will go for a Republican because they're more aimed toward war, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And the military guys, that are no longer um, in the military are coming out saying, we're not going to go with Trump. And so I think they're speaking for a lot of the military that are still. And one woman, because where he filmed is where her husband is buried.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
And she's actually an ex-Marine, and her husband was a Marine, and he died. She had just she was coming on. She had retired because they decided that they would make a new plan. They were always going to stay in the military, but then they decided, they wanted to have children, and so she was 9 months pregnant when she looked out the door and knew who was at her door, that they were coming to tell her he died.
Hmm.
And he had told her after he got back from that deployment, he was going to retire too.
On Friday, we just got back to your question when he was
And
answering,
she's furious at the vice president nominee, J.D. Vance, because he's an ex-Marine. And she says, "Why aren't you speaking up? I demand an answer from you."
last 3.5 years, and so he's excited about that and wants to continue that.
So he's going to look like an idiot.
The vice president
If he was smart, he'd jump ship.
this morning where she mentioned that price gouging.
Say, "Donald, I can't do this." And watch Donald choosing his kids. Even his kids aren't doing on the campaign trail with him.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-mm.
Okay, now.
His beloved Ivanka
Ivanka?
wants nothing to do with him right now. The only reason he's running is he doesn't want to go to jail.
Well, yeah.
But if he would have acted like a normal person, they might have kept him out of jail. You know what I'm saying? And he's a convicted felon, people. Nobody wants a convicted felon. But a lot of people are coming out of their Trump haze. It's hilarious to watch these people. And a lot of them are saying it was a cult. It was like getting caught up in a cult. And that now that they're away from it, they can see it. And they say Melania wants nothing to do with him.
Well, yeah, that's apparent.
After she's renegotiated her divorce thing 5 times. She just keeps renegotiating. I love it. And he's so desperate, he renegotiates with her.
Microphone.
Well, and they talk about how he buried his first wife, Ivana, out there at his Bedminster golf course in the back.
Mm-hmm.
The greenskeepers don't even take care of it. It's overgrown with weeds. They have pictures of it. Why one of his kids don't get out there and make sure that someone takes care of it, I'll never know. But anyway, be careful. The kids are just going to put them up. But if they ever sell that place, someone's going to go, you got to take your parents with you.
Yeah. Take him up. Take him with you.
Well, they say the only reason he did it is because you're supposed to be tax deductible.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if they made him tax deductible.
Money.
Yeah.
It's all about money. Okay, now. And then. Let's see here. I need. A video that I'm watching.
Jagger, just leave that alone. That's a sign. It's not to wish you. I said, well, I'm going to be on here to wish you, Mommy. You just gutter, man. You move. you going? Think you're hiding?
Hiding.
You don't think they see you? Who's Bacardi again? She thinks mom's gonna go over there and give her a treat, but she's not.
You're not gonna see me.
Bacardi's over there. So, yeah.
No.
I just don't know. See. Boo. Boo, it is not your turn. She gets a turn. Hey, Bacardi. You're trying to touch her as she ran by. She's like, you can't touch this. I could. They'd fire me the first day. 'Cause I'd be in there popping all. Oh, no popping the pops. Yeah.
No popping. No popping. No.
You can't stop her. She just keeps popping them. You have a job here no more, lady. You popped. The pops. So just, it is my. It's my. See, a lot of the gamers seems like that when they stream, they show the back of their head so you can see what they're watching. Oh, you haven't seen that? I guess that was on Zion. It was YouTube. It's that one that you said to go to. And then I told you it was mostly a gamer site.
USB phone. This will be in slot.
Jagger. You're a grown folks. This is so what? Mother.
So I am.
It was hilarious. I sprayed this. Or maybe it was a run, moon, run. I don't know. Or just I want to get a swat in. I'm gonna be so behind on stuff today. Mommy slept too much. I don't know what happened. Tonight before we go to bed at 4, um, you need to give me my B12 shot.
Okay. You're wide out. Okay.
Did he kill her before he went to the gym? I still kind of, and then his uncle and cousin, his uncle lived in the building a couple of floors up. I truthfully think the uncle or the cousin had something to do with it. His cousin, they were both, the cousin and the uncle were both attorneys. The uncle is connected politically because when the ME first came out with the report, he said it was homicide. The cops were the one that said, "Well, we're investigating, but we're ruling out homicide." And so a few days later, the ME changed its report. Why would you be changing your report? You said it was homicide. Now you're saying it's suicide? This girl stabbed herself 1 2 times. And the one she stabbed in the brain, I mean, that thing was like this long of a stab wound. You could. Some of the stab wounds, they even said there were no hemorrhages. So that means she was dead. So she was stabbing herself after she was dead. I don't know. Maybe she's a zombie. But no, it's her parents are trying to get the case heard by the Supreme Court in the state because it's wrong. That girl did not shoot her or stab herself. Definitely not 20 times. And they tried to say, well, she was on Xanax and Klonopin or something. And she was mentally ill. She was depressed. She was getting married, though. But she tried to get a couple of people to move in with her and her fiance before the wedding. And she had also asked her parents if she could come home. She said it's nothing with Sam, her fiance. That's why I'm thinking there was a family issue. I think she came home early. She either saw or heard something. They took her out. Because they said the interesting thing was she was supposedly had been cutting some fruit up and she still had the towel in her hand. Okay, she's stabbing herself, but she keeps a hold of the towel. And nobody heard anything, but the one stab wound in the back, they said, because she stabbed herself in the C1, C2, and C3. So she could have paralyzed herself. Or whoever stabbed her paralyzed her, and then she couldn't do anything, and they just went to town. They're not even sure if there were two knives, but they only found one knife, and it was in the kitchen sink. So if she stabbed herself 20 times, and she's down on the floor leaning against the kitchen cabinet, how come the knife is in the kitchen sink? I mean, that doesn't sound normal, does it? I don't think there's a possibility that that could have happened. And it was a 10-inch knife. You try and get a 10-inch knife and see if you can stab yourself in the back. The pain would have been just too much. I mean, it's just and you can tell that they were trying to get him to offer aid. Like they were asking if she was, already gone. Is there something you could do? And he was just like, and then all of a sudden he goes, oh, she's been stabbed in the chest. I'm sorry, I think a 10-inch knife in her heart you would have noticed right away. Because she's leaning against the cap. So all of a sudden you notice the big old knife in her chest? Oh, please. He was a bad actor. The big thing with Tracy was Tracy couldn't understand why the family still socialized with this the ex-fiance, and he's married now and has children. I think it's a situation where you keep your friends close but your enemies closer. I think they were trying to stay in the realm so they could discover what really happened. Their attorney put out a statement later saying that the family needed, respect their privacy, blah, blah. Out, the uncle uncle and cousin of the fiance had the same attorney. Isn't that a conflict of interest? I would be
Just a little bit.
yeah, I'd be changing attorneys. I sure hope they got rid of him. Aw, we got a kitty in the basket, and it's not the one I thought would be in there. It is the assassin. She's so cute. I do like her lots. I mean, I love all of our children, but every once in a while you find one that it's like, I really like this kid. And that's that one. So pretty. I was like, what about me? I'm pretty.
I wonder what you would sound like
Naked?
here instead of across the room.
The only way to do it is for me to sit in the chair.
You have to be able
Stay
to
close.
move these sliders as you're talking.
Do you want me to just stand behind your desk?
No, just come over there.
Okay. I am able to get up. I just want anyone to get this. Oh. Whoa. Girls. I like light.
I think you would sound a lot better from right here than it sounded like you were talking across the room. So
Okay. Do you need this turned around? Easy.
yeah.
Sports. Can you just
You don't have to have much, okay?
Are you okay?
Yeah.
So anyway, Tracy thought it was a situation where she thought it was odd how they were still socializing with, the fiance. But like I said, I think it was because they're trying to keep their enemies close. And I think they want to be able to keep an eye on things because I think he's the weakest link. I think eventually he is going to make a mistake because he's a moron. I mean, he couldn't even keep his story straight. At one point, he said he had his Timberline, is that what they call them, Timberline boots, to go down to the gym. Now, who goes down to the gym in boots? I mean, come on. And he was upset with her, but he only spent 30 minutes in the gym. And then when he came up and the door was supposedly locked, someone heard what he was saying, and his things were, I mean, he just did not sound like someone that was, hey, honey, let me in the door. No, he sounded mad. So I don't know. There's just something really, really odd. And I think it has something to do with his family. And the guy that is the the attorney general for the state, he was in the running for Kamala Harris's vice president pick. And he did Ben Shapiro. It would have been the first time that a Jewish man had a chance to be vice president. And the reason he didn't get picked, plain and simple, is he won't look at this case. He refuses. So I think, he's friends with these people, and I think it's a situation where he can't look into the case. He knows he can't. And people don't want to cover up. If you're covering up murder, what else are you covering up? And if you got in the White House, can you imagine what he'd cover up? So, not that White House hasn't had enough cover-ups, but, that's where we're at in the story. And let's see, what other cases have I been looking into? Let's see, I told you about the girl in the box. Oh, there's the one down in Florida. Now that was the one I think I started to tell you about, where the woman told her girlfriend's family that she had just left. I always love the story that they just picked up and left, never contacted anybody. Do they really think anyone ever believes that story? Because they don't. I mean, she would have contacted her daughter and said, I'm moving out because this girlfriend was abusive to her. And the last time she saw her, her mom had been beaten up pretty bad.
Okay. What I want you to do, I want you to put these in and listen to yourself talk.
Am I going to like listening to me talk? Probably not.
Well, I want to, what my goal here is to show you the difference between, I know you're kind of dead set against a pair of headsets, but I'm talking about the microphone part of it. We might have to invest in a little bit better microphone for you than something like this, because you still sound like you're a long way away from me.
Okay.
So, what we need to do is get it to where the optimum length is about 4 to 6 inches away for the mic to be like 4 to 6 inches away from your mouth, not 2 feet.
I wonder if I could find one of those things like I used to use at Ford Motor Credit that you just slipped over your ear and it went into your ear and you had a mic.
That's what I'm. I used to have when I was at Relco. I had an ear.
You had an ear?
Yeah. It was basically like a Bluetooth for your phone.
Okay.
And it had a microphone in it. And I was told that it sounded pretty good. I don't know. So
is it something we could order off of Amazon and then find one that you could send back if it doesn't work?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. So, but I think there would be a vast difference. I mean, the tone of your voice and everything, it would sound so much, like you were so much closer to the microphone. It just gives your voice a lot different of a sound than being halfway across the room and not being able to be
well,
close.
I can look out the window now. Kelly's moving the camera all around. Hey. Ooh, I'm scary. Oh, Kelly's going to do lights. Now I have to see me.
Well, yeah, that's the point.
See, I don't want to see me.
Well, your audience is going to see you.
No, they can see me and I don't have to look at them seeing me. That's the great thing about it. See?
Okay.
I mean, I don't know what you want me to do now. I'm listening to me. I hate listening to me. Don't you hate listening to you? It's really a weird thing.
Well, it doesn't sound natural. That's what.
Here, do you want to hear an earbud so you can hear what's going on?
No.
Well,
I've had an earbud in my ear all afternoon.
Oh, I'm sorry. I wish I could fix your ears. Am I still talking?
No.
Oh, thank God. Please tell me we weren't live on air. Were we?
Well, on my account.
Oh, Lord.
Nobody listens to my account. I have one subscriber. You.
I know, I'm so cool.
Okay. That concludes this portion of the meeting. Court is adjourned.
I have a weird laugh. I want a gavel.
Well, the problem with the gavel is you hit this desk.
It'd fall down.
What? It's a possibility.
Okay.
Take this out.
What am I doing with all this stuff?
Well, are we going to have dinner here?
Yes.
Well, I got to make dinner.
Well, I know, but I also need to do stuff, and I'm asking, what am I going to do with all this?
Yeah. You want me to teach you how to do this right now?
No.
want to go make dinner.
I do too, but can I get to my stuff so I can do what I need to do? Is what I'm trying to get.
Oh. Yeah. We'll just hand me my headset there. Okay. Yeah, you can close out of this.
Okay.